Hi, hello pals, and welcome back to the Unreviewed Crafts podcast. This is going to be my little roundup of May, and it's currently 4th of June, so we're pretty on track in terms of when this is being filmed, which is great. A few things that have happened since last time, just before we get right into the knitting. I did get officially married. Took off my nice wedding nails, but got married. I didn't wear my cardigan in the end. I didn't wear anything over my dress because we had a really nice and warm day, and yeah, it was brilliant. It was beautiful, and you know, we had pretty much the perfect day and was so happy with how it all went. So yeah, just one wedding left to go. We just have what is essentially like our reception in the UK, just because obviously we live here in the UK, but we got married in Norway, and so quite a few people couldn't make it, and people we would have invited just to the evening, obviously we didn't invite out on an international trip because that would have been a bit weird. So we had our wedding, and that is all done. I don't know if you've seen that trend where people, like brides, will cut their hair in between the ceremony and the reception. That is not what happened. I cut my hair after the wedding, but because we do have a reception coming up, I kind of cut it in between the ceremony and the reception. But yes, if you see me faffing a lot with my hair, I'm not used to it yet, so we're just seeing how it goes. Also, I'm sorry for any mess you might see in the background. There's decorations and stuff for this upcoming wedding absolutely everywhere, so yeah, not great. But let's get on with the knitting. I'm wearing my finished object from last time, my little Alden summer top. Light, it's very cute, great for the weather that we're having right now. I spoke extensively about this in my last video and like how I'm feeling about it. I still feel pretty much the same way, but I'm just trying to like wear it, see if I like it. But yeah, this is the Alden summer top by Vitre Design, and it's in drops cotton merino in powder pink, I think. Yeah, I do like it. We'll see how much wear it gets this summer. But yeah, let's get on with what I've been working on in the last month. I do not have any finished objects other than individual socks. But I don't really count that. I count a pair of socks as a finished object. Let me get my stuff together. So I showed my sweet woodruff finished sock in the last podcast, I believe. Like one finished sock. I still haven't made the second one. I didn't end up casting it on my trip, but I have finished the first sock of my Ivory Room opening souvenir sock. Again, I spoke about this in the last video, but it is the DK vanilla sock by the Crazy Sock Lady, and it is in this gorgeous combination of Krankesol wool, Edelweiss sock yarn, and Marjogan pearl mohair. And yeah, these are so fluffy, so I'm definitely casting on another one of those soon. I'm considering making June a bit of like a finish on my socks month, just because I've got 3 single socks currently sitting around and I want to get some of them out of my life. Where is my next sock? So, another finished sock. This is my Olivia and Oliver sock set sock. I had not casted this on in the last episode. I, in fact, was still waiting for the yarn to arrive. It did arrive before we left for the airport, and so I cast this on. I wound up the yarn before we left, and then I cast this on like at the airport. As a result, the toe is all sorts of jacked up, but that's fine. I'm all over the place. This Olivia and Oliver sock set, Olivia and Oliver Fibres sock set I got from my ivory room to celebrate the fact that I passed my first year of my PhD. And it is in elderflower, which is this green colour here, which is absolutely gorgeous, and then cotton for the contrast. It's 100 grams of the main colour and then 20 grams of the contrast, which excitingly actually gets me 4 socks. This is a quarter of each of them, and so I've wound up the little contrast ones into 4 balls, and I've just done one big cake of the main colour. But yeah, I did a toe up vanilla sock for this so that I could like use up all my yarn, and I'm just going to replicate it for the other socks. I have sort of just done an amalgamation of like tutorials I've found online for my my toe up socks. It's in my Ravelry, like the specific for my size, and everything that is on there. It's not a pattern, it's not a tutorial, it's just the notes for myself, but if you can make sense of them, then you can make the sock. But yes, I started with Judy's Magic Cast On. It's got a fleagle heel, and then I did a twisted 2x2 rib for the cuff. It's the first time I've done twisted rib. Didn't particularly like it, will not be doing it again, at least on socks for the foreseeable, like if a pattern calls for it maybe, but as you'll see, I have a pattern that calls for it and I'm not planning on doing it this time. But yeah, so this is a sock I have cast on the second one. So this is how that is looking, sort of halfway up the foot. And yeah, also I very excitingly got a ball winder, so it is this lovely cake, which is very exciting. An acquisition, I guess, but is actually inherited from Phil's gran. She had it, and I don't have it here, but it's just a very standard, you know, clamp onto the desk sort of plastic one. I've been thinking about buying one for ages, and so when she was like, oh, do you want this? I was like, yeah, for sure. So I'm now making cakes all over the place, and that is very exciting. But yeah, that's where we're at with the socks. 2 finished singles and 1 in progress. I've been working on a big whip this month, and after working on that, like, it was such a delight to cast on that sock and being like, ah, it flies. Because my big whip is a fingering weight cancel. So it's a little bit scrunched up at the bottom because it's on some smaller needles, obviously, but this is how it is looking. And it is, you know, I've got this much under the arm, so it's currently still very much like a Gen Z underboob bearing top. So it's definitely too cropped, as it goes right now. This is the pattern where, so you're supposed to cast on and do like twisted 1x1 rib for the collar and the neckband, neckband and the armbands. I don't think I will be doing twisted rib, but that's fine. So this is the top I talked about in my last video, but I've actually got Ravelry open this time, so I can tell you what it is. It is the Evelyn top by Colibri by Joanna, and just looks like a really great, like, oh, this is inside out. It just looks like a really great standard, like, little ribbed camisole vibe. I'm knitting it in Saniskan Tin Lina, which I picked up while I was in Norway. The colour, what is the colour? We can find out. It's the hit colour, and yeah, I really like it. I think it's going to be great. The neck hole is tiny because I did my edge stitches very tight, so I can just get it over my head, which is great. But yeah, it looks tiny, but it does stretch significantly, so it does fit. The pattern, this is a little bit bizarre. So the pattern recommends 3mm needles for the body. I had to go down to 2.25 for it to look nice. I tried it on 3 and it did not work for me. It did not look very nice at all. But on 2.25 it's working out all right, and I am hitting gauge, so yeah, it's great. But yeah, so this is what I've been working on for most of the summer. This is what I worked on most of the time when I was home, after finishing up my single socks. But yeah, it just takes a long time. It just takes a long time, which is why casting on the sock was so nice. Also, for those of you that might have been here before and noticed, I am actually using metal needles, again gifted by False Gran, because I was connecting in the round and my needles were far too long. She was like, oh, have these, and I was like, I'll try them, but I'm not having an awful sensory experience, so maybe I like metal needles for some things now. But yes, I'm working on this slowly but surely. This is actually, as well, this is one ball, so I need to connect another ball, and that's why I've stopped to like take a little bit of a break and work on this sock for a little while. But yeah, that is great. So that's kind of what I've got going on at the moment. I'm trying to think if I have any plans I should tell you about. No. Well, one plan, maybe. So, acquisitions wise, I got the yarn for this, which is obviously now started. But that's not the fun acquisition. The fun acquisitions is, I got some Saniskan like pattern booklets. I got 2 just from my mum, but she had laying around. So this one, which is DIY from, does it say? No, it's DIY, it's number 2011. And my mum had this because she made this vest, which I have also now inherited, which is great. So got this, which I think, what were my favourite things in this? Didn't think I had anything specific that was like, oh, I'm dying to make that in this one. But I got another DIY one as well, which is number 2109. Does it say when this is from? Yeah, so this is autumn 2021. Let me show you my favourite, because I think there were a few in this that I was like obsessed with. yeah, so this jumper, can you see that? This jumper, it's called the Kelly jumper, and it's Kelly Genser, I should say, and it is so gorgeous. It's got these, like, let's see if I can show you that. It's got these ribbed raglans, the rib for the raglan, and then which flows into the rib for the neck, and flows into the rib down the side and then down the bottom, and it's got this really high split, and I am obsessed with it. So that is definitely on my list. Not like an immediate make or anything, but yeah, I'm obsessed with this jumper. I love like a really thoughtful, like continuous detail like that, so very excited to have this as well. And then I bought 2 pattern booklets as well. Firstly, the one we all know, Mjuk till Dame, which I got because I want to make the Guernsey Genser, and I want to make it as like a knit along with my mum at some point. Don't know when that's going to be, this autumn maybe. In terms of yarn thoughts for that, let me show you quick. So for the Guernsey Genser, this cone that I picked up at Unraveled, my massive cone with loads and loads and loads of yarn in, I think it was like the bigger, for my bigger gauge that I did on my swatch, that matches the Guernsey gauge pretty perfectly. It would be a very utilitarian jumper, like it would definitely be like a skiing, like hiking kind of vibe, rather than like a cozy indoor kind of jumper. But I think like this very traditional like shape and pattern like would work quite well for that. So, and I think this light kind of heathered colour would be good for the structure, would show the structure well, I think. So yeah, that is my thoughts. Obviously it's normally made in like, I think merino and mohair. Yeah, and so by using this I am saving myself a ton of money, and I think I have tried this. It is definitely like, it's itchy on my, it's not itchy, it's scratchy on my arm, but I have tried it like on top of another fabric, and so if I wear a jumper underneath it, then that should be absolutely fine, and for a more utilitarian like jumper, that's fine with me. So that is my plan. If we do a little knit along, this will be the yarn that I will be using, and yeah, obviously there's so many other gorgeous patterns in here. A few of the jumpers I really like. I really like the slip over, the Amy slip over. I think that's really gorgeous as well. And obviously the socks, I might make the socks, to be honest, because I do have some of the yarn that's recommended. But yeah, so I bought this, the one you've all seen, and then I bought another one, which is called Noskey Corner, which is this one. And again, this one I bought for a very specific pattern, because I want to make this, which is a Islander Genser, which is just really gorgeous. And they have 2 versions in here, 2 men's and 2 women's, and it's a bottom up raglan version or a top down drop shoulder version. I'm not quite sure. The drop shoulders don't always fit me brilliantly, and I don't know if I want to try a drop shoulder in like a full colour work, like in case it doesn't fit me well. I would have loved like if they had a top down raglan, but they don't. So I was looking at it for a second to see if I could reverse engineer it, but that would take a lot of brain work on my part, and I simply don't have that good of a brain, so it's going to be a no from me. But that one's made in sisu, which is a sock yarn, and it wouldn't actually be that expensive. I think it'd be like £60 maybe. So like that's not that bad. So I'm considering that. And then I also really love these. Like, I think they're really gorgeous as well. So yeah, some colourwork jumpers for me. Yeah, they're just really classic, and I think it'd be a good option for like a first colourwork. I'm not that big on like a circular yoke, so for my first colourwork jumper I don't think I want to do that. And yeah, just this colourwork like chart is just a really easy one. So no long floats, no nothing, so I'm quite into that. So yeah, that's why I got this. And that was all the pattern things I got, but I got a few bits of yarn as well. So my mum's, like most local yarn shop, mostly sells Sanes yarn and like a few other brands, and that's where I bought yarn. However, I popped into a shop in town as well. I didn't have a chance to like really look or buy anything, but they carried everything, and now next time we go back to Norway I need to go, and I need my mum to start going because she doesn't really go there. But they carried like Knitting for Olive, Isager, Gepard, like all of the things. So yeah, I wish I'd had more time to look at that one. That's fine. Again, I just bought my normal sock yarns. So I wanted to try Sanes yarn Sisu, which is obviously what that jumper, the colourwork jumper, is knitted in, so I figured I would definitely want to try it for some socks. Does it say the colour? It does not say the colour, it just says the 2572. I don't know what that is, but it's just a lovely like neutral little brown, which I thought was really cute. And then the other colour I looked at, because I wanted to get two different colours to potentially, because they're 50 grams, so I wanted to do like a contrast heel and toe, maybe do like two sets but like swap. The other colour I was looking at was like a mustard yellow, and I looked at it in the sisu, but then I saw this one and I was like, oh, I might as well try out a different sock yarn. So this is Grendel Hot Socks. Oh, which is actually 75% wool, 20% polyamide, and then 5% cashmere. Ooh, I didn't even realise it was cashmere. Very nice. I didn't say, but the sisu is 20% wool, 20% nylon. Yeah, my first little cashmere socks. Very fun. So yeah, these are the two like souvenir sock yarns I got. Not very exciting, quite classic. But yeah, I was thinking it might also be nice to combine with some of the other bits in my stash, because I've got a few little like just really like leftover bits. So I might combine with some of those, or I might do some colour work. I might do many a thing, but these two, just chilling, no rush. Just a few yarns that I got to remind me of Norway. So that's really nice. And yeah, that's all I got in Norway. Obviously I didn't ever show you the Olivia and Oliver sock set because it got delivered after the last one, but this is what it looks like in the cake, the main colour. Obviously you saw it in the socks earlier. Yeah, that's it. I have no plans to buy any more wool for a while. I've got a full list of stuff I want to make, stuff I want to finish, so I think that's going to be the plan. I've got that jumper, the guns again, so I've got the yarn for that if I want to start that. I have yarn to start one of the Christmas like sock gifts that I'm doing, so I can start that. I've got the yarn I need for the sporty knit skirt that I want to do, and I've still got my started Fridags slipover thing that I started earlier in the year that I still need to finish. And obviously I've got 3 socks and a thing and potentially a shawl on the go. So we've got plenty to work on. The next things that I definitely do need to buy yarn for is just the other socks that I'm knitting for Christmas. But I've got some time yet. And so I'm going to try to hit my spot on my bingo card that's like 2 months without buying yarn. That is my plan. Have a break, and I don't think I've got anything going on that I would want to do souvenir socks from. So yeah, I feel like I've been very all over the place in this little episode. Sorry about that. Sorry about everything. I'm feeling a little bit all over the place today in general. I've been trying to write this morning and it's not been going so well, so I figured I would film this finally. But yeah, that has been May and a little bit about what is going on in June, and yeah, I will see you towards the end of June or beginning of July. Until then,